How about we name our child after your ex-boyfriend? My 8 months pregnant wife said this with a smile. She smiled as if it were the most natural thing in the world. She smiled with such confidence and impunity. Would you dare refuse? Would you? Everyone expected me to explode on the spot, to throw things, maybe even to get physical. But I just smiled and nodded. Sure. From that moment on, what I was preparing for her wasn't a celebration for the child's 100-day milestone. It was the execution site of her social death. Let me be clear. The most terrifying thing in this world isn't infidelity itself, but when someone cheats on you and then expects you to be grateful. Dear viewers, if your spouse asked to name your child after their ex, right in front of you, what would you do? Don't rush to answer. After hearing my story, you'll realize some people just deserve a public execution. That Friday night, she personally signed her own death warrant. I came back from the construction site with blueprints still in hand. Celeste sat at the dining table, one hand on her belly, her face written with the smugness of a victor. Dashiell Hartley. Her voice was soft, but each word cut like a knife. I want Marcus Finch to be our child's godfather. A pause. Then came an even crueler blow. And I want to name the child Marcus Dashiell. Dashiell after you. The blueprints fell to the floor. Thud. The sound was particularly crisp in the quiet room. Marcus Finch. I looked up at her. Your ex-boyfriend? Yes. She said it so naturally. He's my true soulmate. You won't mind, will you? After all, you love me so much. After all, you love me so much. These 6 words were the knife she handed me. She wanted me to use this knife to personally cut away my own dignity, sever my own spine, and then smile and say thank you. You know that feeling? It's like the dog you've raised for 3 years suddenly looks up and tells you in human words, "Actually, I've always thought you were a fool." Shocked? Angry? Neither is enough. In that moment, I had only one thought. Just how shameless can a person be? The answer is shameless enough to make you doubt human nature itself. But you know what? After 10 years of architectural design, the first thing I learned was this. When the foundation shows fatal cracks, never patch it up. You have to tear down the entire building and start over. All right. I bent down to pick up the blueprints, my voice still calm. A deeper contempt flashed in Celeste's eyes. I knew you'd agree. You've always been so sensible. Sensible. How nice. In other words, obedient, easy to bully, weak and compliant. She walked toward the bedroom, her steps light, as if she'd just won a battle. I sat at the dining table, my mind incredibly clear. 3 years of marriage had been a joke all along. No, not even a joke. At least jokes can make people laugh. But this only made me sick. That night, she slept soundly, while I sat in the study doing only one thing, formulating a plan. If she wanted to write Marcus Finch into my child's life, then she seriously underestimated me. Not my anger, but my rationality. Because true revenge is never impulsive, but a precisely calculated fatal strike. The next day, I found a lawyer and began collecting evidence of her demise. 8 in the morning, I didn't go to the office. I went straight to the law firm. Attorney Brennan, I need to consult about a divorce. And I want her to leave with nothing. I repeated last night's conversation word for word. Attorney Brennan's expression went from shock to anger in less than 10 seconds. This is outrageous. He slammed the table. But we need solid evidence. Expense records, photos from the scene, DNA testing. How do we legally obtain these? Attorney Brennan calmed down and took out his notebook. You're the primary account holder. Checking bills is completely legal. We have a partner investigation firm that can legally gather evidence in public spaces. After the child is born, DNA testing is your legal right. He looked at me. You need to be mentally prepared. This process might be painful. It won't be, I said, because she's already given me the strongest anesthetic. What? The truth. Attorney Brennan paused for 2 seconds, then nodded. Within 3 days, I'll give you a preliminary plan. Walking out of the law firm, the sunlight was blinding. I lit a cigarette. You know what the most ironic thing about this world is? When a person decides to stop being kind, they discover that this world has prepared far more tools for evil than for good. That afternoon, I opened the bills and saw shamelessness at its peak. The family credit card account. I had the primary card, Celeste used the supplementary card. I clicked on the transaction records. Then I saw what it means to treat an honest person like an ATM. February 14th, couple's restaurant, $2,860. Note: Happy Valentine's Day. That day, I was working overtime at the construction site until dawn. March 8th, Grand Hotel, $1,980. Luxury double room, 2 nights. That day, she said she was staying at a friend's house. March 15th, musical instrument store, $5,600. Birthday gift for Marcus Finch. That day, I transferred her $10,000 for living expenses. April 20th, jewelry store, $8,900. Men's diamond cufflinks. That day, she said she needed to buy maternity clothes. May 1st, resort villa, $6,800. 3 days and 2 nights. That day, I was having dinner with her parents. 3 months, $72,000. Every penny spent on her and her true love. And me? I got up at 5 every morning to make her pregnancy meals. Never missed a prenatal checkup. When her back hurt at night, I massaged her until my hands cramped. Turned out I'd been the clown all along. No, I wasn't even as good as a clown. At least clowns know they're performing. But I truly thought I was living a life. In that moment, I didn't throw things, didn't become hysterical. I just sat at the computer, taking screenshots, saving files, organizing them. Every transaction was a nail in her coffin. My phone buzzed. A text from Celeste. "Honey, I'm craving seafood tonight." I replied, "Sure, I'll buy some." I turned off the phone and a smile crept across my face. Let me be clear. The saddest thing in this world isn't being betrayed. It's when the person who betrays you still expects you to keep paying. But she didn't know. Even clowns fight back. And when they do, they make sure you never forget it. 2 weeks later, all evidence was in place and her crimes were even more complete than I'd imagined. The investigation firm's efficiency exceeded my expectations. Photos, videos, audio recordings. Everything was there. February 14th, holding hands at the restaurant, gazing deeply into each other's eyes. March 8th, kissing at the hotel entrance, arms around each other as they entered. April 1st, walking in the park, Marcus Finch's hand on her belly. May 20th, at a CF, the two embraced and cried. Each one was marked with time and location, meeting legal evidence standards. But the most damning was an audio recording. Outside a CAF, the investigator recorded this with professional equipment. "Celeste, the child is yours, I'm certain." Marcus Finch, "What about Dashiell Hartley? Won't he find out?" Celeste laughed so casually. "Him? He's just a tool. I'm making him raise our child, and he should be grateful." Marcus Finch, "What if he discovers the truth?" Celeste, "He won't. He's so honest, so obedient. Plus, I'm pregnant, so he wouldn't dare do anything." They both laughed. The laughter in the recording was particularly grating, like a knife scraping glass, like nails on a chalkboard. I listened to this recording, expressionless, played it on loop 10 times. You know what? When a person truly sees another person for who they are, even anger is unnecessary. All that remains is cold execution. I sent all the materials to Attorney Brennan. He replied, "The evidence chain is perfect. She's finished." But I was still missing one final piece of evidence. The most fatal one. DNA testing. June 15th, the child was born, and when she named him, she was writing her own epitaph. 3 a.m. Celeste's water broke. I drove her to the hospital. All along the way, she screamed in pain. She grabbed my hand and said, "Honey, I'm so scared." "Don't be afraid," I said. "I'm here." 5 hours later, the nurse said, "Congratulations, it's a boy." Celeste smiled weakly. "Honey, we have a son." I touched the child's little hand. So soft, so warm. Too bad he wasn't mine. On discharge day, registering the birth. Celeste filled out the form. Marcus Dashiell. Dashiell after you. She looked at me. To commemorate Marcus Finch, with your name thrown in to placate you. Pretty clever design, don't you think? Very clever. I smiled. In my heart, only one thought. Idiot. You think you're clever? You're just naming your own social death scene. That night, while she slept, I used a medical cotton swab to collect a sample from the child's mouth, added my own hair, sealed it, mailed it to the Provincial Judicial Identification Center. Express delivery. $3,000 rush fee. I didn't even blink. Because this $3,000 would make her regret for the rest of her life. 2 weeks later, the DNA report arrived, and that number was more ironic than I'd imagined. The delivery arrived. I signed for it, opened it. Provincial Judicial Identification Center DNA Paternity Test Report. Client, Dashiell Hartley. Subject, Marcus Dashiell. Test conclusion. Excludes Dashiell Hartley as the biological father of Marcus Dashiell. Paternity probability, 0%. 0%. 3 years of marriage and I got a 0%. You know what that 0% means? It means she'd been treating me like a fool from beginning to end. It means that child was never mine from day one. It means my 3 years of devotion were all a joke. But at the same time, this 0% was also my weapon. The sharpest one. I called Attorney Brennan. The evidence is complete. At the child's 100-day celebration, I want to let her die with dignity in front of everyone. Attorney Brennan was silent for 3 seconds. Mr. Hartley, doing this, might it be too? Too what? I interrupted him. Too cruel. Making me raise her ex-boyfriend's child, using my money to date her true love, naming the child after her ex-boyfriend, humiliating me to my face. Attorney Brennan. Tell me, what's cruel? Attorney Brennan sighed. I understand. Legal documents will be ready in 3 days. Thank you. I hung up and looked out the window. The sky was so blue. The clouds were so white. What a perfect day for a funeral. For the next 2 months, I was unusually proactive because I was preparing the most grand farewell ceremony for her. The 100-day celebration. I took the initiative to suggest making it big. Let's invite all relatives and friends, both families together for a celebration. A flash of delight in Celeste's eyes. Honey, you're so good. I also want to make a video, I said, documenting the entire journey from pregnancy to birth, as a keepsake for the child. That's wonderful. She clapped her hands happily. You go ahead and prepare it. I trust your design skills. Trust my design skills. Yes, she should trust them. Because this time, I would design the most unforgettable work of her life. Her social death scene. The 100-day celebration was set for September 23rd. Location, Grand Hotel. The same hotel where she and Marcus Finch had their affair. A hall for 200 people. I personally oversaw every detail. Sound system, projection, lighting. Even the position of each table I calculated precisely. Celeste even invited Marcus Finch's family. After all, he's the child's godfather. As it should be. I nodded. She thought she'd won. Thought she'd successfully played 2 men in the palm of her hand. Thought she was life's winner. Didn't know that waiting for her was only the abyss. You know what the most satisfying moment of revenge is? It's not the moment you strike. It's watching your target walk step by step into the pit you've dug, smiling all the while. September 23rd, Judgment Day, and the weather was absurdly beautiful. I woke up at 6 in the morning. Shower, shave, put on my best suit, looked in the mirror. The man in the mirror had calm eyes and a slight smile at the corner of his mouth, like a butcher looking at a lamb for slaughter. 10 o'clock, arrived at the hotel, checked all the equipment. The USB drive was in my suit pocket against my heart. Inside was Celeste's death sentence. 3 in the afternoon, guests began arriving. Both sets of parents, relatives and friends, colleagues and neighbors. 200 people filled the hall to capacity. The atmosphere was lively, laughter and joy. Marcus Finch came too, in a black suit, sitting at the secondary head table. Seeing me, he smiled and nodded. That smile was full of mockery. Fool, raising my kid and having to thank me for coming. I smiled back, thinking, in a moment you won't be smiling. For a clock sharp, the banquet began. Celeste in a red dress, holding the child, the posture of life's winner. The smile on her face was brighter than sunshine. That was the last time in her life she'd smile so happily. The host, now, let's invite the child's father, Mr. Dashiell Hartley, to give a speech. Applause. I went on stage, picked up the microphone, took a deep breath. Dear friends and family, thank you for coming to Marcus Dashiell's 100-day celebration. Today, I've prepared a special gift for the child. A video documenting the entire journey from pregnancy to birth. Please watch. The lights dimmed. The screen lit up. The show began. A warm opening, then a sudden shift in tone. This is the art of revenge. The video started. Warm background music. Pregnancy photos. Ultrasound images. The moment of the child's birth. Guests exclaimed in admiration. So heartwarming. So happy. This video is made with such care. Celeste sat below, her eyes narrowed with pride. Proud, smug, like a hunter displaying her trophies. Then, the music stopped. The screen went black. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. The entire hall fell silent. Then, a line of text appeared. But there are some things you don't know. The text was blood red. Like a warning. Like a curse. The hall grew even quieter. Then, the first photo appeared. Celeste and Marcus Finch, holding hands at a restaurant, gazing deeply at each other. Caption, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Romantic restaurant, $2,860. Dashiell Hartley's credit card. The entire hall fell into dead silence. The air froze. Dashiell Hartley, what are you doing? Celeste stood up, her face instantly pale. I said nothing, just stood on stage watching the screen. The video continued. One photo after another. Kissing at the hotel. Walking in the park. Shopping at the jewelry store. The resort villa. Each photo marked with time, location, and amount. Each one was a slap in the face. 3 months, over 40 photos, more than a dozen videos. A complete betrayal, displayed without concealment in front of 200 people. These are all photoshopped. Celeste shrieked. Don't believe him. But no one paid attention to her. Because the next scene was even more shocking. Audio. Coming through the speakers. Clear as if whispered in their ears. Celeste's voice. The child is yours, I'm certain. Marcus Finch's voice. What about Dashiell Hartley? Celeste laughing. Him? Just a tool. I'm making him raise our child. And he should be grateful. Marcus Finch. What if he finds out? Celeste. He won't, he's so honest. Plus, I'm pregnant. So he wouldn't dare do anything. They both laughed. The laughter echoed through the banquet hall. Grating. Ironic. Like laughter from hell itself. The hall exploded. Oh my God. Is this real? So shameless. Dashiell Hartley was cuckolded like this? Relatives whispered to each other. Friends murmured among themselves. Celeste's mother's face turned deathly pale, clutching her chest. My father clenched his fists, eyes red. Marcus Finch wanted to stand up but didn't dare. His backside glued to the chair as if stuck. It's all fake. Celeste rushed to the front of the stage, holding the child, hysterical. Don't believe him. I pulled out documents from my inner pocket, handed them to the host. Please read this report. The host's hands trembled, but he still opened it. Read aloud. Provincial Judicial Identification Center DNA Paternity Test Report. Client, Dashiell Hartley. Subject, Marcus Dashiell. Test conclusion. Excludes Dashiell Hartley as the biological father of Marcus Dashiell. Paternity probability, 0%. Dead silence. 3 seconds. Then, explosion. What? The child isn't Dashiell Hartley's? Then whose is it? Need you ask? Obviously Marcus Finch's. My God. This is too absurd. All eyes turned simultaneously to Marcus Finch. His face turned deathly pale, lips trembling, wanting to say something but couldn't. His parents were stunned. His mother covered her face and wept. His father's face turned iron gray. Celeste collapsed on the floor, holding the child and shaking. "It's not like that. It's not like that." I walked down from the stage, crouched in front of her, looked into her eyes. Those eyes that once mesmerized me. Now only fear and despair remained. "You were right," I said, my voice very calm. "This name is very meaningful. Marcus Dashiell. Marcus to remember Marcus Finch. Now all 200 people here understand this meaning. Dashiell Hartley, please." She grabbed my pant leg. "Don't do this." I pushed her hand away, stood up, turned to the entire hall. "Everyone, I apologize for revealing this on such an occasion, but I must let everyone know the truth." I pulled out documents, displaying them one by one. Over 3 months, I collected all the evidence. Transaction records, $72,000, all spent on her and Marcus Finch. Photos and videos, 46 photos, 18 videos, documenting their dates at restaurants, hotels, and resort villas. Audio recordings. She called me a tool, said I was honest, said I wouldn't dare do anything. DNA testing. The child isn't mine. Paternity probability 0%. All this evidence is legal and compliant, admissible in court. I pulled out the final document. This is the divorce agreement and court summons. I have formally filed for divorce. According to Article 46 of the marriage law, the at-fault party has no right to divide premarital property. The house, purchased with my parents' money, is premarital property. The car, purchased before marriage. Savings, my salary income. Ms. Celeste Ling, you leave with nothing. Celeste completely broke down, wailing and crying. "No, don't do this." Her mother rushed up and slapped her across the face. "You shameless thing." Her father covered his face, shoulders shaking. Marcus Finch tried to run. Just stood up. I turned to him. "Mr. Finch, don't rush. Biological fathers have an obligation to support their children. My lawyer will contact you. At least $3,000 per month in child support until the child turns 18. You can refuse, but I'll apply for court enforcement. Wage garnishment, account freezing, restriction of high consumption, even detention. The law is very fair." Marcus Finch's face turned green. I don't have money." "That's your problem," I said coldly. Marcus Finch's father rushed up and slapped him across the face. "You beast! How did I raise such a thing?" His mother also cried, collapsing into a chair. The entire banquet hall descended into chaos. Some cried, some cursed, some took photos, some recorded videos. This 100-day celebration became a massive social death scene. And I stood at the center, calmly watching it all. Like a director watching his carefully orchestrated drama come to an end. As I turned to leave, I finally understood one truth. I turned around, walked toward the door. My parents followed behind me. My mother's eyes were red, but she held my hand tightly. "Mom, I'm sorry," I said, "for embarrassing you." "Silly child." My mother's voice choked. "You're not the one who did wrong. You did the right thing." My father patted my shoulder, saying nothing, but I could feel the strength in his palm. Walking out of the hotel, the sunlight was blinding. I took a deep breath. The air was so fresh, like being reborn. My phone rang. "Attorney Brennan." "Mr. Hartley, all legal procedures have been initiated. The evidence chain is complete. The other party has no chance of turning things around. At the fastest, the divorce judgment can come down in a month." "Thank you." I hung up and drove away, passed by what used to be home, that cage built on lies. I didn't stop the car, didn't even glance at it, because that place no longer belonged to me. In that moment, I finally understood one truth. The most terrifying thing in this world isn't betrayal itself. It's when someone betrays you and still expects you to be grateful. cheats on you and still expects you to raise the child, uses your money, sleeps with your wife and mocks you as a tool. The most terrifying thing is they thought you'd keep taking it. But they forgot one thing. Honest people aren't fools. They're just waiting for the right moment to get everything back. With interest. 3 months later, I saw her fate and it was even more miserable than I'd imagined. The divorce judgment came down. Celeste was ruled the at-fault party, leaving with nothing. Didn't get a single penny. She and Marcus Finch rented a small apartment on the city outskirts. 400 square feet, 1 bedroom and living room. They fought every day over child support. Marcus Finch couldn't find stable work. The $3,000 monthly child support, he couldn't even pay $2,000. The court enforced it, garnishing what little salary he had. He went to construction sites to haul bricks, restaurants to wash dishes, supermarkets to work security. The former artist who wore suits and played guitar now reeked of cooking oil, his face written with exhaustion and regret. Celeste wasn't any better. No work experience, ordinary education, a blank resume. Couldn't hold down any job. Waitress criticized for bad attitude. Cashier always made mistakes with calculations. Sales couldn't close a single deal. Her parents cut ties with her. Wouldn't answer calls. Blocked on social media. The princess who was once held in everyone's palm was now like a stray dog, wandering everywhere. Once I ran into them at the market. The two of them haggling over vegetables for a few dollars. Celeste wore old clothes, her hair messy, no makeup on her face. Marcus Finch was hunched over like a little old man. They didn't see me. I didn't greet them either. Just stood at a distance, quietly watching for a while. Then turned and left. This is the price of betrayal. Not immediate punishment, but a lifetime of regret. She once posted on social media, "If only time could turn back." Below it, not a single like, not a single comment, because everyone knew what had happened. The videos and photos from that 100-day celebration had long spread throughout everyone's social circles. She became a joke, became a warning, became the never be like her in every woman's mouth. Social death is more terrifying than physical death, because you're still alive, but everyone treats you as if you're already dead. As for me, I started over and I'm living better than before. After the divorce, I returned to work. Every day drawing blueprints, doing designs, supervising construction sites. Focused, calm. No one consuming my energy with lies anymore. The company promoted me, project manager. 3 major projects under my responsibility. Salary doubled. My parents were also relieved. "Son, this is good," my mother said. "Find a good girl in the future. Live a solid life." "I will," I smiled. One weekend, I stood in front of an office building I designed. 30 floors, just topped out. The glass curtain wall reflected the sunlight like a monument. A worker handed me water. "Mr. Hartley, this building is beautiful." "Thank you." I took a sip. "You know what's most important in design?" "What?" "The foundation must be stable. The structure must be solid." I looked at the building. Only with a stable foundation can you support a building. Life is the same. If the foundation isn't stable, no matter how high you build, it will collapse. But if the foundation is stable, even if you tear it down and rebuild, you can rise again. The worker nodded, understanding partially. I smiled, said no more. My phone rang. Unknown number. A gentle female voice. "Hello, Mr. Hartley? I'm Linnea Hart, project director at Huashing Group. Our company would like to invite you as a design consultant for a new project. Would you be interested?" "Yes. Let's schedule a time to discuss details." "Great. How about this Friday at 3 p.m. at our office?" "No problem." I hung up and looked at the city skyline in the distance. Those buildings I'd designed stood one by one. Solid. Steadfast. Won't betray. Won't lie. My life would be like these buildings. Tear down the old, build the new. More stable, more solid, higher. As for Celeste and Marcus Finch, their lives had nothing to do with me anymore. The pit they dug, let them fill it themselves. The path they chose, let them walk it themselves. I just needed to walk my own path well. As the sun set, I drove home. Passed by a restaurant we used to frequent. Didn't stop. Drove right past. Let the past be the past. The future still held countless possibilities waiting for me. Epilogue. The best revenge in this world isn't destroying the other person. Many people ask me, do you regret it? Regret doing that at the 100-day celebration. Regret causing her public social death. Regret not leaving her any dignity. My answer is, no regrets. Not at all. You know why? Because some people need to pay the price before they understand what respect means. Some things need to be handled publicly to serve as a warning to others. Some debts need to be settled in public before you can truly turn the page. If I had chosen to endure, if I had chosen to resolve things privately, if I had chosen to keep the peace, what would have happened to me? Continued mockery, continued exploitation, continued being a tool. Most importantly, she would think she did nothing wrong. She might even think I wasn't magnanimous enough. But now it's different. Now every day she wakes up, she'll remember that 100-day celebration. Remember 200 pairs of eyes watching. Remember the contempt of relatives and friends. Remember her parents' slaps. This is true punishment. Not making her die, but making her live, yet live a life worse than death. Some people say I'm cruel. Say I'm heartless. Say I shouldn't have done this at the child's 100-day celebration. Then I ask you, was it cruel when she used my money to date someone else? Was it heartless when she made me raise another man's child? Should she have humiliated me to my face? Why is it justified when she does it, but cruel when I fight back? Why did she feel no guilt when betraying me, but I'm heartless for exposing her? This world can't have such double standards. Looking back now, I only regret one thing. I regret not discovering it sooner. 3 years of marriage, I wasted 3 years. But those 3 years also let me completely see through human nature. Made me understand one truth. The best revenge in this world isn't destroying the other person. It's letting her watch you live better than her, more free than her, more dignified than her, with more dignity than her. Me now, annual salary 6 figures. Career going smoothly, parents healthy, friends genuine, life fulfilling. And her? Living in a small rented apartment, worrying about living expenses. Parents cut ties, all friends gone. Social circle completely collapsed. Can't even hold her head up when going out. This is the price of choices. She chose to betray, so she must bear the counterattack of the betrayed. She chose to deceive, so she must bear the consequences of truth being revealed. She chose to humiliate others, so she must bear being humiliated in return. What goes around comes around. Who can heaven spare? So, dear viewers, if your partner treats you this way too, if your spouse humiliates you this way too, please remember, you don't need to endure. You don't need to yield. And you certainly don't need to use your kindness to fulfill others' evil. Fight back when you should. Expose when you should. Defend your rights when you should. Because in this world, no one should be treated this way. And no one should pay for someone else's mistakes. Finally, I want to say, thank you for that 100-day celebration. Thank you for that exposure. Thank you for giving myself that counterattack. It made me understand. Honest people aren't easy to bully. They're just waiting for the right moment to get everything back. With interest. And when that moment comes, it's the other person's doomsday. Dear viewers, if your spouse demanded to name your child after their ex, what would you do? Would you swallow your anger? Would you explode on the spot? Or would you, like me, calmly plan a perfect revenge? Tell me your answer in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because in the next episode, I'll tell another story. How a woman, after discovering her husband's affair, used a funeral to make the mistress die socially across the entire city. See you next time.